Hello, guys. Good day. This is Anna of Reinforcement Club, your fellow positive reinforcer. Today, we're going to talk about love is a choice. Love is a commitment, not a coincidence. Have you noticed that in some scenarios wherein, even though the other half has died, their partner remains loyal to them, as it is what it is, as death do them part. They remain loyal. Some of them keep themselves single, choose to be single for some reasons, and they still remain, keep the love of their partner who died. That's why love is a choice. And on the other hand, there are also instances wherein you tend to find out as you spend more time with the person you're in love with, you find out that the person, your loved one, the love of your life isn't perfect. The love of your life snores at nighttime. The love of your life, has a smelly feet, after work when he takes off his shoes. That's just for example. The love of your life has his hair hasn't grown anymore. He got hair folds. He's about to get hairless. That's another example. Or the love of your life tend to be childish whenever she feels stress. She acts like a child. That's just another example. So as we go along, spend time with our loved ones, we get to know them, and we're going to find out all the turn on and turn offs. We could even list them all. And some of those turn offs, in some point, actually used to be non negotiable to you when you were single. But since you decided that you want to be with this person, you choose this person every day, intentionally, you just forgive. Forgive and forgive to the point that it's already out of your limits. But, as you go along, you try to talk about it, negotiate, build boundaries, or you make solutions out of your non-negotiables to the point that you can even just come up with some kind of meet me halfway, or just don't talk about those topics. Because the outcome, the result, when you talk about those topics, isn't going anywhere. It's just going to start a fight. So just don't talk about it. Just another solution. Like religion, your other half doesn't believe in the religion, and you do. And when you try to bring it up first time, it didn't go on well. So you try to talk about it. How are we going to handle this? And you decided not to talk about it anymore. So just don't. Until the time comes that you could be comfortable to talk about it, slowly by slowly. Otherwise, just don't. So love starts as a feeling. Of course, the butterflies in our stomach when we see our crush, our main target. Why we joined the aerobic class, because your crush is there. You want to ask her out. You want to be friends with him or whoever's that person. So it starts as a feeling, but feelings are temporary and can change over time. Staying with your loved ones, when staying with the person you call the one, requires a conscious, ongoing choice, especially during the tough times when you encounter problems, issues that you have, important issues that you have to tackle, or it could be concerns that somehow compromise your values, and you have to talk about it. You need to bring it up. There's no way for you that you're going to thrive if you keep yourself small when you have to hide something from another person. For sure, that wouldn't last long because you were hiding some stuff. So you won't get into conflict with with that love of your life. But it's not. You're not going to be happy anyway. You're going to be compromised. So bring it up as much as possible. Bring it up in time if it's really important, or bring it up slowly. Choosing your partner daily builds a strong, lasting relationship. Now think about it. If For example, you encounter problems, you had an argument, and some reactions from your partner, you didn't like it, and then it turned you off. But the way you still, since you wanted to keep the person, you still want to connect and talk about it, and then be friends again, and then hug, cuddles, and then it could be romance, anything that could, connect you again after disconnection from a fight, disconnection from some problems. Find a way to connect and connect and connect. You won't ever find a way to reconnect with a person whom you never choose to be with, because you decided to be part of the life of that person. Even though you don't want to say sorry, say sorry. You have to compromise. And having to compromise isn't easy. But if that is one way to keep the one in your life every day, even though it's hard, you got to stomach that pride, that hardship, because you choose to be with that person. Finding the one, when you look at their face, you look at your crush, your attraction, you get attracted to that person. Oh my gosh, she's so smart. So I'd like to ask her out. So that's just for example. Then it's actually that's the beginning. And of course it could last for a couple of months, or to some people it will only last for a day. Serial daters. But initially, when you get attracted to a person, it could last for a couple of months. And then as time goes by, you tend to find out that those imperfections. But then, since you decided to stay because you're thinking, I want to be with this person, this is the one, then you try to negotiate those imperfections to yourself, that you really have to take it as it is and live with it. There's no perfect person. But the good thing about it is that you and your partner could grow together. Reach out your wildest dreams. You could do a lot of things together. Even travel around the world together. Although both of you won't be a perfect person. Because, we have different standards about perfection. And even though we reach that perfect part, it ain't going to be perfect. There will always be some sort of errors, flaws that we couldn't, it's actually inevitable, because we're not AI, we ain't no robots. So, since we can't get to be perfect to ourselves, that's why we have to be forgiving to ourselves, and so us to our partners. No one is perfect. Love is choosing someone to grow with, not expecting perfection from that person. If you don't choose each other continually, relationship weakens and satisfaction fades. And it actually happens when you encounter problems, really a clash of values or conflicts, hard conflicts it could be from our childhood traumas that we haven't resolved yet, and they have childhood traumas that hasn't resolved yet. So it's also our duty to ourselves to really look after ourselves. Be self-aware about our own flaws. And in that way, if we can ever forgive ourselves, be patient to ourselves, then we can also give that to our partner, our love life, our romantic partner, the love of our life. What we can give to ourselves, we are able to give it to others. We can't give anything that we don't have. So if we want more love yourself more. Love yourself like you've never loved someone before. And in that way, you can, it resonates. It reflects to other person. The other person will also love you more, because that's how you treat yourself. Commitment brings stability, deeper connection, and emotional security. Yes, indeed. Because when you're already deeply connected to your partner, you can be yourself. That's the best part. You can act like a child. You can bring up all sorts of, issues or topics that bothers you. Ain't no hiding. You can talk about anything under the sun, with or without sense. Because the person truly accepts you. If you have the ability to accept yourself. So you're open. And you're gonna know if your other half isn't open, because you know it. If you're giving it to yourself, you know exactly what's going on. As for example, an honest person can easily spot a dishonest person in ways that you can never tell. It's in the gut. True love is hard. The way when you have a hard fight and you have, in order to keep the person, you got to forgive. Yes, we forgive. But we still continue to fight tomorrow. We forgive each other tonight so we can sleep well. Until such time that you can finally ease yourself and then openly forgive the person. I know I would understand forgiveness takes time. And support the person even though you're not into that battle. You're not into that sport. You're not into that movie. You're not into that job. If the person loves it 100%, be there, support. Even if you cannot afford to be there, just don't hinder the person to do that. If it's not going to kill him, you go for it. The way when you chase constant excitement, when you chase a person whom you think this person seems better than this one I'm with. That way it actually can hinder your journey to long-term fulfillment, because no one is perfect. Even the richest man in the world, even the guy, the CEO of this so-and-so company, rich, has a fancy car, big house. Everybody has flaws. And if you keep chasing it, the perfect person with the money, the love that you want, the attention that you need, there will always be some flaws. That is why some women would, even though the guy has mistreated her, she still pick the guy every day, choose the guy every day because of the dollars, because of the money. So, although, we cannot actually say that's right or wrong because people are different. We choose the person every day intentionally for our very own personal reason. That is why love is the choice. Because the butterflies, the cloud nine that we feel whenever we're initially in love with our romantic partner for a couple of months, it will just fade away. And what remains is our choices, our commitment to be with that person. That is why love is a choice. So pick wisely. Do you know that? Other than chasing and chasing, just chill and choose. Live with your standards. Somebody will give that to you in time. But although that somebody will give that to you in time, will choose you, that person wouldn't be perfect like you, like me. Long-term love isn't luck. It's two people plus same intentional choice every day to be with each other for the rest of their lives. That's one of the biggest thing I've ever learned. I could be slow though. But just like goals, our aspiration, we choose them every day. I'm talking about our real aspirations because there are some goals, when you're doing something about those goals, we tend to change our minds. That's why it's important to know why are we doing this? Why are we, what's the reason behind our goals? But some of our goals though, we remain true to them. in sickness and in health, we remain true to our goals. And part of our goals is to build a wonderful, memorable, amazing life with the person we choose every day, with our romantic partner, even with our family, with our kids, the most important people in our lives. Have you ever noticed it? Even in terms of like friendship, people who wants to keep you will always make time for you, will give you attention that you wouldn't even get from those temporary people or even fake people. Or it could be acquaintances. Yeah, just people who just passerby in your life. People you just meet in the party and then just gone. Acquaintance. So those people who choose you will always make time for you, will give you 100% attention, will always help you in times you mess up. And that is commitment. Commitment doesn't even only happen in romantic relationships. Even at work, you're committed to work, regardless of the fact that some other people, colleagues that you have could be lazy, have different talents that's against your values and your standards. But since you're committed to your work, then you just work your ass off like the way you do. That's your brand. Commitment to a friendship. So regularly message the person. So love is a choice at all costs. Love is hard. Because we're not perfect. We're going to have fights, real fights. But still, we choose to stay with that person through thick and thin. That is not just love. That is intentional choice to be with that person. That is commitment. And that is why, some people, even though they're married, they still separate, they break up. For some reasons, some important reasons to them. But otherwise, to those people who stick around, whether they're happy in some days and some days they're not, it's still a choice. It's their choice. It's how they fulfill their love. That's how they show their love to that person, by sticking around no matter what. Intentionally choosing to stay. Whether we're going to be happy about it or not, it's always their choice. And they're always going to be free to do that. Just like you and me. Although we could say, I have no choice, but we do have. We do. It's just that mindset-wise, we're not open about it. We choose to stay. There might be some other factors. That's why we cannot, break the bond, the promise of love that, during the wedding days. But it's embedded, engraved in your mind and heart to stay with that person and solve the problems. So we're not going to fight about it anymore. We're not going to fight about the same thing over and over again. And talk about it. So we can, you and me could build a wonderful life with our romantic partner. Or it could be to a friend. You're committed to a friend because you choose your friend. You love your friend. Love is still a choice. It's how you show your love to your friend. Time, effort, attention, support. So those butterflies, after, the first time you see the face of that person. The first time I ever see her face, she's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, she got a straight hair. Wow. But, at the end of the day, it's still going to be your choice to stick around and make a move to be with that person for the rest of your life. I hope I shared something amazing today. And to be honest, I learned about goals and friendship and other stuff, but I also learn from myself every single time, and I feel so amazing. And that's why, I bring this up today. I hope you have a lovely day, though. It's actually not so good weather today. It was raining the whole time, but, you have to get on with it. And it's still a lovely day for me. And I hope I've shared something valuable today. And if you ever love this episode, you can follow me in YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, even an X, Reinforce Me Club. And you can even share this to your family and friends. By the way, this is Anne, your fellow positive reinforcer. I do appreciate your time and have a lovely day ahead. Thank you.